Good morning, students. In previous video, we had started the experiment method or the experiment technique, in which we had study about the whole concept of experimental method and the three types of variable, the concept of variables, and the control group and the experimental group, the two type of groups. And also in this we had study about the extraneous variable or the relevant variables. So in this section we had we will discuss the basic techniques, the basic tools or techniques which we use for controlling the relevant variable or the control of the extraneous variable. So let's start one by one. First technique is elimination. So since the goal of an experiment is to minimize extraneous variable, the best way to handle this problem is to eliminate them. Okay. For example, the experiments may be conducted in a soundproof proof room. If the sound is a relevant variable which we want to control, then definitely we use a soundproof room for experiment. So in this way we can control the relevant variable which is sound. Okay, so this is the technique of elimination. Whatever variable जो हमारी एक्सपेरिमेंट को बेसिकली इन्फ्लुएंस कर सकते हैं, हमारे डीवी के इफेक्ट को इन्फ्लुएंस कर सकते हैं, हम उसे स्टडी से, रिसर्च से आउट कर देते हैं, उसे एलिमिनेट कर देते हैं. सो दिस इज द फर्स्ट टेक्निक ऑफ एलिमिनेशन. But elimination is not always possible. In such cases, effort should be made to hold them constant. ठीक है, कुछ ऐसे वेरिएबल्स हैं जिन्हें हम बेसिकली एलिमिनेट नहीं कर सकते. ओके, सो उस कंडीशन में हमें उन्हें कांस्टेंट रखना पड़ता है. फॉर एग्जांपल जेंडर. ठीक है, अगर हम जेंडर को फीमेल पर्सपेक्टिव एंड मेल पर्सपेक्टिव या फिर एज का अगर इफ़ेक्ट है तो एज का जो पर्सपेक्टिव है, एक यंग एज बॉय जो है और एक जो मिडल एज का मतलब मैन है, उसका जो पर्सपेक्टिव है, उसकी जो पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू है, डेफिनेटली चेंज होंगे ड्यू टू एज. तो उस टाइम पे हम उसे एलिमिनेट नहीं कर सकते. अगर हमें हर ग्रुप के हर एज ग्रुप को लेना है तो हम वहाँ पे एलिमिनेट नहीं कर सकते. तो उस केसेस में हम क्या करते हैं, वी यूज़ द सेकेंड टेक्निक विच इज़ कांस्टेंट टेक्निक. ओके, होल्डिंग द बिहेवियर कांस्टेंट. दैट्स मीन अगर हमें कोई स्टडी करनी है तो हम बेसिकली किसी वन जेंडर को प्रेफर करेंगे. सिर्फ और सिर्फ अगर मेल पे जो कि स्टडी करेंगे तो डेफिनेटली इसका साइड इफेक्ट ये है कि हम एक जेंडर पे अगर स्टडी कर रहे हैं तो हम उसको दूसरे जेंडर पे अप्लाई नहीं कर सकते, हम जनरलाइज नहीं कर सकते उस स्टडी की फाइंडिंग्स को. बट एट द सेम टाइम लेकिन हम वहाँ पे उसको कांस्टेंट कर सकते हैं. एज का फैक्टर हो, जेंडर का फैक्टर हो या एरिया का फैक्टर हो, तो वहाँ पे हम कांस्टेंट उसे कर सकते हैं. दिस टेक्निक इज नोन एज कांस्टेंट बिहेवियर और द होल्डिंग द बिहेवियर कांस्टेंट. सो फॉर थर्ड टेक्निक इज मैचिंग. फॉर कंट्रोलिंग organismic variable, there is a three type of variables. First one is which is related to organism, second one is related to environment, and third one is sequence related variables. Okay, so three type of relevant variable. So जब हमें organismic variables को basically control करना होता है, the attributes of a person, the characteristic of the individual, for example fear है, motivation है, intelligence है, personality है, these are the psychological characteristics जिसे हम eliminate नहीं कर सकते, हम उसे कांस्टेंट भी नहीं कर सकते. ठीक है, तो उस कंडीशन पे हम मैचिंग यूज़ करते हैं. फॉर एग्जांपल हमें 3 ग्रुप्स लेने हैं. ठीक है, हमें कंट्रोल ग्रुप ले लेना है, एक्सपेरिमेंटल ग्रुप ले लेना है. तो एक्सपेरिमेंटल ग्रुप में सपोज हमने 3 कैटेगरी बनाई. फॉर एग्जांपल हमें कोई ऐसी स्टडी करनी है जिसमें हमारे लिए इंटेलिजेंस जो है इट्स प्ले अ रोल एज अ रेलिवेंट वेरिएबल. ठीक है, इंटेलिजेंस जो है वो रेलिवेंट वेरिएबल का रोल प्ले कर रहा है, उसे हमें एक्सट्रीनियस वेरिएबल करना है. मतलब कुछ टेक्निक्स यूज़ करके हमें उसे स्टडी से बाहर करना है. तो हम क्या कर सकते हैं, बेसिकली वी यूज़ द 3 ग्रुप्स, हाई इंटेलिजेंट, लो इंटेलिजेंट एंड द एवरेज इंटेलिजेंट. ठीक है, एंड वी पिक अप 3 members or 3 participants in an experimental group and 3 participants in a control group, in which we select one to high intelligent, one to average intelligent, and one to low intelligent. These are the experimental group, and one in high, low, and average, one in a control group. So these are the matching groups. The experimental group and the control group are very much matching. ठीक है, जो intelligence level होगा it is gain constant or the match with two groups. Okay, next technique is counterbalancing technique. So counterbalancing technique is basically used for sequence related variables. ठीक है, it used to minimize the sequence effect. So suppose there are two tasks to be given in an experiment, and rather than giving the two tasks in the same sequence, the experimenter may interchange the order of the task. Thus, half of the group may receive the task in the order of A and B, and while the other half in order of B and A. Or the same individual may be given the task as A, B, B, A order. So this is the technique which we use only for controlling the sequence effect, only for the sequence related variables. Okay, the last one is random assignment. So random assignment of participants to different group eliminate any potential systematic differences between group. Basically, random assignment is also known as randomization, in which basically you can imagine a lottery system. ठीक है, you make a chit जिसमें आपके names लिखे हैं and collect it in a bowl. ठीक है, and बिना biased हुए, without using any partiality, आप बस एक चिट पिकअप करते हो. ठीक है, और उसके बेसिस पे जिसका भी नाम होता है वो सेलेक्टेड होता है स्टडी के लिए. दिस इज द रैंडम असाइनमेंट, जहाँ पे हर इंडिविजुअल के स्टडी में पार्टिसिपेट करने के जो चांसेस हैं वो इक्वल है. द इक्वल अपॉर्चुनिटी इज गिवन टू ऑल ऑफ यू. ठीक है, तो वो होता है हमारा रैंडम असाइनमेंट. यहाँ पे ये चीज़ें होती है कि मतलब कोई आपको ब्लेम नहीं कर सकता कि नहीं आपने पार्शियलिटी की, या आपने किसी और का साइड लिया, या आपने मुझे पार्ट नहीं लिया स्टडी में. इसका कोई चांस नहीं रहता. आप whole sample is equal opportunity to participate in a particular study. Okay, so this is random assignment. The strength of a well designed experiment is that it can provide, relatively speaking, a convincing evidence of a cause effect relationship. So evidence of a cause effect relationship between two or more variables. However, experiments are often conducting in a highly controlled laboratory situation. In this sense, they only simulate situations that exist in the outside world. Okay, and they are frequently criticized for this reason. The experiments may produce results that do not generalize well or apply to real situation. In other words, they have low external validity. Another limitation of the laboratory experiment is that it is not always feasible to study a particular problem or experimentally. So, for example, an experiment to study the effect of nutritional deficiency on intelligence level of children cannot be conducted, as it would be ethically wrong to serve anyone. Okay, so let's these content is basically describe the evaluation of the experimental method, the merits and the demerits. Let's look at the points. The third problem is that it is difficult to know and control all the relevant variables. So these are the basic problems of laboratory experiments. That's why the other type of experiments are also introduced in psychology. Okay, so there are basically two types of experiment. First is field experiment and second is quasi experiment. Let's look at the definition. If a researchers want to have high generalizability or to conduct studies which are not possible in laboratory setting, or she or he may go to the field or the natural setting where the particular phenomena actually exist. In other words, she or he may conduct a field experiment. Okay, so field experiment, that means a study or research is conducted in a natural or the actual situation. Okay. For example, our researchers may want to know which method would lead to better learning among students, lecture or a demonstration method. For this, our researchers may prefer to conduct an experiment in the school. Okay, so this is a very natural setting where the experimenter can very well analyze and compare these two methods, and they find out which one is better. So teach one group by demonstration method and another group by the normal teaching method. For some time, she or he may compare their performance at the end of the learning session. In such type of experiments, the control over relevant variables. ठीक है. So basically ये एक्सपेरिमेंट आप रियल सेटिंग में, एक्चुअल सेटिंग में जाके कंडक्ट करते हो. दैट्स वाई दिस इज नोन एज फील्ड एक्सपेरिमेंट, क्योंकि यू आर गोइंग टू द फील्ड रादर देन द upcoming the individuals to the laboratory. You are going to the field. So in control over relevant variables, so इसमें सबसे ज़्यादा important क्या होता है फील्ड एक्सपेरिमेंट में? बेसिकली आपको यहाँ पे रैंडम वेरिएबल्स को कंट्रोल करना होता है, बिकॉज यू आर नॉट मैनिपुलेटिंग द IV in this type of experiment. So you have to control the relevant variables. And the control over relevant variable is less than what we find in laboratory experiment also. So it is more time consuming and expensive. This is the major side effect of field experiment. It is a more time consuming and expensive, and at the same time you cannot control very well the relevant variables as compared to the laboratory experiment. Next technique is known as quasi experiment. So many variables cannot be manipulated in the laboratory setting. For example, if you want to study the effect of an earthquake on children who lost their parents, so you cannot create this condition artificially in the laboratory. In such situation, the researchers adopt the method of quasi experiment. The literal meaning of quasi is as if, as it is. Okay. This is the Latin word. Quasi is the Latin word which convey the meaning of as if, as it is. Okay. So experimentation, in such type of experiments, the independent variable is selected rather than the varied or the manipulated by the experimenter. And for example, in the experimental group, we can have children who lost their parents in the earthquake, and in the control group, children who experienced the earthquake but did not lost their parents. ठीक है. So this is the two group. One group which is experimental group, जहाँ पे वो children है जिन्होंने अपने parents को लॉस किया due to earthquake, and the control group जहाँ पे वो children है जिन्होंने earthquake experience किया but their parents did not lost. So thus the quasi experiments attempts to manipulate an independent variable in a natural setting using naturally occurring groups to form experiment and control groups. The one speciality of quasi experiment here, the independent variable, the IV is never be manipulated, बल्कि इसे क्या करते हैं, select किया जाता है. The IV is selected, not the manipulated. ठीक है. So these are two type of experiments. So there are some limits of actually laboratory experiment. That's why these two type of experiments are introduced. Now let's compare whole the experimental methods. So first of all, advantages or merits. So in this, first is accurate and highly precise results, because it is a very much scientific method. It use the actual research steps. It follow the actual research steps. That's why the result are very accurate, highly valid, and very much suitable for generalization. Okay. Second one is highly controlled, because this occurring in a laboratory setting. The control in the experimenter hand. That's why this is very highly controlled method, because the variables are controlled by the experimenter. Now look at the disadvantages. So only stimulate situation existing in the outside world. That means the only few situations are selected through the testing for the laboratory, and so many situations which we can not use for laboratory setting. Okay. So this is all about the experimental method, in which we had studied the concept of experimental method and types of experimental method, the concept of variables, and lastly the evaluation part. Now move to our next method, which is correlational research. So basically, correlational research is the studies about the causal relationship. There is a two concept, the cause effect relationship and the causal relationship. This is not the causal, ठीक है, this is causal. That means sometime the two variables are as general correlated with each other, and due to this relationship we can predict according to one variable to another variable. So variables happen to occur together and can be predicted by some techniques. So this is correlation method. In psychological research, we often wish to determine the relationship between two variables for prediction purpose. For example, you may be interested in knowing whether the amount of study time is related to the student's academic achievement. So this question is different from the one which experimental method seeks. So to answer in this sense, that here you do not manipulate the amount of study time and examine its impact on achievement. Rather, you simply find out the relationship between the two variables. Okay. So to determine whether they are associated or covery or not. Okay. So the strength and direction of the relationship between the two variables is represented by a number known as correlational coefficient. There is a two concept in which, okay, correlational research, that means in which we can study about the relationship between two variables. So there are two concepts, one is degree, second one is direction. Okay, so first of all the degree, that means a range, a mathematical phenomena, okay, a statistical phenomena which can be show the degree of correlation. So the symbol, the sign, or you can say the number is known as correlational coefficient, the number known as correlation coefficient, and its value can range from plus 1.0 to 0.0 to minus 1.0. That means the plus 1 to minus 1. This is the range of correlational coefficient. That means the high correlation, किन्हीं दो वेरिएबल में हाई correlation क्या शो करेगा, 0.80, 0.70, 0.90, 0.85. This show the high correlation, and if the there is a negative correlation or the less correlation, it show the minus 2.0 or minus 20, minus 30. This show the lesser correlation between the two variables. Now look at the direction. So as you can see, the coefficient of correlation is of three types, basically positive, negative and 0. The 0.0 correlation is known as zero correlation. That means the two variables are not connected with each other. And plus 1 and to 100 is show the positive correlation, and minus 1 to 100 is noted down as a negative correlation. So there are three type of correlation, basically positive, negative and the zero correlation. So first of all, positive correlation. Positive correlation, in the positive correlation, the one variable if increases, the other variable is also increase. The one variable if decrease, the second variable is also decrease. That means the relationship between two variables is positive. If one increase, the second one is also increase. If one decrease, then second one is also decrease. This is the positive correlation. In negative correlation, if one variable is increased, then second variable is decreased. Okay, so direction is in this way. One is increasing and second is decreasing. Okay, and if one is decreasing and second is increasing, this is also negative correlation. Okay, that means the opposite direction. The direction is opposite, and in positive correlation there is a direction is same side. And in zero correlation there is no increasing and no decreasing. That means the one variable is not affected the other variable. This is called zero correlation. So as you can see, the coefficient of correlation is of three types: positive, negative and zero. A positive correlations indicates that as the value of one variable x increase, the value of the other variable will also increase. Similarly, when variable x decrease, so a value of y or the second variable is also decrease. So to suppose it is found that more time the student spent or on studying, the higher was their achievement score. So also the less they studied, the lower was their achievement score. So this type of association will be indicated by a positive number, and the stronger and the association between studying and achievement, the closer the number would be to plus 1.0, you may find a correlation of plus 0.85 indicates a strong positive association. That means 0.85 and 0.80 is a high correlation between two variables. So between study time and the achievement, on the other hand, a negative correlation tell us that as the value of one variable increase, the value of the other is decrease. For example, you may hypothesize that as the hours of study time increase, the number of hours spent in other activity will decrease. Okay, the hours of study will increase, then definitely the hours spent in other activity will be decreased. So here you are expecting a negative correlation, the ranging between 0 and minus 1.0. So it is also possible that sometime no correlation may exist between the two variables. So this is called zero correlation. So generally it is difficult to find zero correlation, but the correlation found may be close to zero. That means minus 0.02 or plus 0.03. This is the zero correlation. So this indicates that no significant relationship exists between two variables, or the two variables are unrelated. So this is all about correlational research. Our next method is survey research method. So survey is basically used to study opinions, attitudes and the social facts. You may here have read in the newspaper or seen on the television that during elections, survey are conducted to find out if people would vote for a particular political party or favor a particular candidate. So survey research came into existence to study opinion, attitudes and the social facts. Their main concern initially was to find out the existing reality or baseline. So they were used to find out facts such as the literacy rate at a particular time, religious affiliations, income level of a particular group of people, etc. So they were also used to find out the attitude of people towards family planning and other maybe any plan, and the attitudes towards giving power to the Panchayati Raj institutions for running program related to health, education and sanitation, etc. So however, they have now evolved into a sophisticated technique which helps in inferring various kinds of causal relationship provides us. Okay? So this is basically a survey method. Let's look at the example which is given in your book in box 2.2, example of survey method. In December 2004, a survey was conducted by Outlook Safatik magazine 10 January 2005 to know what make the people of India happy. The survey was conducted in 8 big cities, namely Mumbai, Delhi, Kolkata, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Ahmedabad, Jaipur and Ranchi. 817 persons in the age group of 25 to 55 years participate in the study. The questionnaire used in the survey contained different types of questions. The first questions, are you happy? Required response to give their view on a 5-point scale. 5 extremely happy, 4 more or less happy, 3 neither happy or nor unhappy, and second is more or less unhappy, first is extremely unhappy. So about 47% people reported that they were extremely happy, and 28% were more or less happy, and 11% said they were neither happy or nor unhappy, and 7% each feel in the last two categories. So more or less unhappy and extremely unhappy. So the second question is, can you buy happiness with money? The second question of this questionnaire is, can you buy happiness with money? And had three alternatives: yes, no, don't know. So about 80% people express that money can't buy happiness. Another question tries to know what gives maximum happiness. More than 50% respondent reported that peace of mind. So 54% and health, and 50% gave them maximum happiness. So this was followed by responses such as success in work, 43%, and family, 40%. Another questions asked was to what do they do when they feel unhappy or sad. So it was reported that 36% people opted for listening to music, and 23% found respite in the company of friend, and 50% went for a movie. Okay, so this is a typical example of a survey method. That means here in this example, our broad population is selected for the purpose of survey, and the topic is happiness or happiness in life for the Indian happy peoples. Okay, so this is the typical example. So basically survey method mein we are using questionnaire method or the interview method. So let's discuss this about. Basically in survey method we can use a questionnaire as a tool, but technique we use this is interview. So there are three type of interview technique which we use in a survey method: personal interview, telephonic interview, and the questionnaire interview. Okay. Questionnaire interview is also known as questionnaire survey. So let's look at one by one. So first of all, personal interview. As you know, the personal interview, that's mean the face-to-face interaction between two peoples. Okay, the interview method is one of the most frequently used method for obtaining information from peoples. It is used in diverse kind of situation. It is used by a doctor to obtain information from the patients, an employer when meeting a prospective employer, and a salesperson interviewing a housewife to know why she uses a certain brand of soap. And on television, we often see media persons interviewing people on issues of national and international importance. So what happened in an interview? We see that two or more persons sit and face to face with each other. So in which one person generally called interviewer who asks the questions, and the other person is called interviewee or respondent who give the answer of the questions. So an interview is a purposeful activity conducted to derive factual information, opinions, and attitudes and reasons for particular behavior, etc. So from the respondent, it is generally conducted face to face, but sometimes it can be it can also take place over the phone. That means the personal interview also in conducted in a telephonic interview or the phone interview. So there can be two broad types of interview. Basically two types of interview in the category of personal interview: the structured interview and the unstructured interview. Structured interview also known as standardized, and the unstructured interview is known as non-standardized. So there are two types. So this distinction is based upon the types of preparation we make before conducting the interview. This classification is based on our preparation. As we have to ask questions during the interview, it is required that we prepare a list of questions beforehand, and the list is called an interview schedule. So a structured interview is one where the question is the scheduled are written clearly in a particular situation. That's mean a structured or the standardized interview वो होता है basically जहाँ पे हम एक interview schedule यूज़ करते हैं. Schedule that's mean a set of question जिसमें बेसिकली वो राइट डाउन होते हैं क्वेश्चंस, ठीक है. क्लियरली वहाँ पे क्वेश्चंस लिखे होते हैं और एक पर्टिकुलर सीक्वेंस होता है उन क्वेश्चंस को पूछने का, ठीक है. हम रैंडमली कहीं से भी कुछ भी नहीं पूछते. सो दिस इज द स्पेशलिटी ऑफ स्ट्रक्चर्ड इंटरव्यू. द इंटरव्यूअर हैज़ लिटिल और नो लिबर्टी टू मेक चेंज इन द wording of the questions or the order in which they are to be asked, and the responses to these questions are also in same cases specified in advance. So these are called close-ended questions. In contrast, in an unstructured interview, the interviewer has the flexibility to take decision about the questions and to be asked, the wording of the questions, and the sequence in which questions are to be asked. So since responses are not specified in such type of interview, that's mean the personal factor जो होता है interviewer का, the whole personality is affect the whole interview, because the questions are not in written form, the sequence are not pre-decided. So that means the whole liberty is in the interviewer hand. So the respondent can answer the question in the way he or she choose to do so. So such questions are called open-ended questions. These questions are known as open-ended questions because the answers are not pre-decided or not pre-written, and the flexibility is there. For example, if the researchers want to know about the happiness level of a person, he or she may ask, "How happy are you?" The respondent may reply to this question the way he or she chooses to answer. Okay, so that means this is basically a subjective type of question or descriptive type of questions. The answer is a descriptive type, not a MCQs type. The prior one, which is close-ended question, they are basically MCQs type of question, or the answer is very much fixed. No, there is no flexibility in answers. So an interviewer may have the following combination of participants in an interview situation. There are so many combinations of personal interview. First of all, individual to individual, ठीक है. individual to individual जो interview होता है, basically for example अगर आप job purpose के लिए interview दो, तो there are one authority person who is the maybe general manager of an organizer and the candidate. So this is the individual to individual, ठीक है. And the individual to group, that's mean for example classroom setting, maybe अगर मैं question पूछ रही हूँ, I am a teacher and you are the group of a student, so this is the known as here a face to face interaction, that's why it is a interview. But here I am asking two questions from everyone, so this is the individual to group question in interview. Okay, next combination is group to individual, okay. In a selection committee there are 4 to 5 members and they are interviewed to only one person, so this is known as group to individual example, okay. This is a group to individual interview. Next one is group to group interview, okay. Here the so many teachers are seated here and so many students are there, and there are rapid questioning and all the students are given the answers. So this situation is known as group to group interview, ठीक है. जहाँ पे आपके जो interviewer है वो भी बहुत हैं, मतलब numbers of interviewer are more than one and the respondent are also more than one. So this is the situation which is known as group to group interview. So this is 4 combination: individual to individual, individual to group, group to individual and group to group. Okay, these are the 4 combinations of interview. Let's look at the second one. Basically second one is telephonic interview and the questionnaire interview, which we will discuss in a next video. Okay class, thank you.